When you move all of the inmates from Arkham Asylum into Arkham Tower, how do they all suddenly turn into model citizens? Well, we're about to find out today just how Arkham Tower even functions. This is the Comicstorian channel. I take some of your favorite comic books, I break them down, I read them back to you dramatically, and then we just have a great time. All alterations to the storyline, the panels, the images, all of that is to prevent copyright problems. Today we're going to be bringing you part 2 of the Detective Comics storyline, Arkham Tower. Batman is seemingly missing, though if you watched our Batman video, you would know where he is. And while he is gone, all of the inmates from Arkham Asylum have been moved into a new location in the middle of the city known as Arkham Tower. And in that location, they all seem to be doing perfect. No issues at all. On top of that, Huntress has slipped in as a patient to try and figure out what's happening. When we last left off, we discovered that Psycho Pirate was actually behind it, altering everyone's feelings and emotions, and he just dropped them all to the floor, causing them to go to sleep. The link to that earlier video is down below, but it's time to bring you the center part of Arkham Tower. Just minutes before the brawl broke out, Chase closed her door asking how did Helena know? And that's when there's a slam against the door. Chase quickly grabs her phone and begins to call Dr. Fro's work phone. And as it goes to voicemail, she says that she has no idea why she is calling other than a patient is telling her to, and she doesn't really know what's happening. The patients were stable moments ago, but now they're not. There is something very wrong here. Not to get into detail, but the patients' violent histories are not disappearing from their subconsciousness. They're staying, presenting them as movies about underground cities and killing. She doesn't know how, where, or whoever Dr. Ocean is and how they've been able to keep them calm most of the time, but she does not believe that they are cured. It was at that moment that Psycho Pirate put everyone to sleep. Moments later, down in the Batcave, Batwoman gets a ping that she received a voicemail, and she and Barbara listen in. However, because it was through their work phones, it wasn't just them who heard the call. As Batwoman gets ready to head in for work, Barbara says that she just got an email from HR that Fro was fired. Something about breaking patient confidentiality. But then Batwoman gets another call from Chase and she answers. Chase says that she just wanted to apologize for leaving that message and can't really believe she said those things. Apparently there was a gas leak in the building and she overreacted. It's kind of embarrassing. But before she could finish, Chase hangs up and Batwoman says that that did not sound like Dr. Chase. And that is because it really wasn't Chase. It was Ware and Psycho Pirate telling her what to say. Once everyone gears back up, Barbara says that they need to look back at that voicemail, and Chase mentions something about underground cities. And Batwoman says that Siphon has worked with the Party Crashers. Maybe underground is actually underground. Later on, in the underground city, the Party Crashers are beginning to move their latest shipment of Numb when two of the men hear something. As they check it out, Orphan and the others spring out with a flurry of kicks and punches. And after only a few moments, Spoiler looks at everyone, telling them that she wanted this to be a bit, harder? Orphan opens up one of the tower boxes and says bingo. Spoiler says that it's nice of them to keep the tower boxes. They should be able to trace the labels as well. But back in the tower, Arkham Tower, Huntress sits in her bed, looking at the blood on her hands, asking what happened. Anna knocks and leans in, telling her that she was just getting lunch and then woke up in her bed with a bump on her head. You ever get that feeling? Like a feeling on a feeling? Like there's a movie in this movie? It's pretty interesting. Huntress tries to think, but says no, and then sees flashes of her fight with Nero as she begins to remember a movie about a woman and a man who thought that he was king. Strange. But under her bed, unbeknownst to her, Huntress managed to leave herself a note reading, "His hold is breaking." Later that night, Ware walks alone as he checks his phone after getting a message from a staff member who said that they had been here nearly a month, but she can no longer keep quiet. She'll be going to the press with evidence to show how horribly dangerous this enterprise really is. Ware sighs. Crap. But he is suddenly tased as the female Party Crasher says that it really feels like he's screwing them. Ware begins to yell that the product is coming. He doesn't know what happened with the Bat people. The Party Crasher leans in, stating that she really doesn't like him. This is his last warning, and then shocks him again. But back at Arkham Tower, Nightwing is making his rounds as the janitor when he overhears two nurses talking about how someone was brought into the ICU recently. Not sure as to why. Taking one of the doctor's lab coats, Nightwing sneaks into the ICU where a nurse is going over Nero's paperwork asking how is he doing. The nurse says that he has a concussion, a sprained wrist, and a solid black eye. And he keeps saying something about his hold. She isn't sure what that means. Word has it that he fell down some stairs. But if he asks her, it looks like someone really did a number on him. Nightwing heads over to Huntress's room and asks if she remembers anything from a little while ago, like a fight. Huntress tells him no. Why? Wait, I don't think so. Nightwing spots some blood on the floor beneath Huntress's bed, and as he pulls it out, he finds the message that she left. But who is he? And what does it mean that he is losing his hold? Barbara radios in asking what does he think, and Nightwing thinks that it's mind control. That everyone in Arkham Tower is being controlled by one individual, and it would explain a lot. He changes into the Nightwing costume, scaling the side of Arkham Tower to try and get more clues when he finds Dr. Ocean's office. As he opens up the door, Psycho Pirate turns back. Wait, stop, don't come in! And Nightwing stares for a moment. Psycho Pirate, of course it's you. But Psycho Pirate tells him that he is frozen. Frozen! Now on the ground! You belong to me now. But as morning came, so did the day for the tower's celebration for allowing new, non-criminal patients to participate in their new treatments. Chase began her day going through her rounds as normal, but as she stops by Nero's room, she looks over the charts. She realizes that something isn't right. Nero begins to try and speak, and when he does, all he can say is, his hold is breaking. Down below, the celebration is underway, and Spoiler sneaks in undercover as a patient to try and find out what happened to Nightwing. Up in Dr. Ocean's office, Psycho Pirate is keeping his hold on Nightwing when he notices the party crashers storming through the front entrance. No, I can't stop them. But with that single moment of concentration lost, Nightwing snaps out of it, grabbing Psycho Pirate, asking, "Are you the one behind all of this?" And Psycho Pirate tells him, "We have a bigger problem! The party crashers are here for Ware! There's too many of them!" Just then, Ware steps out onto the stage to welcome all the new individuals to Arkham, but when he looks at the crowd, he sees the party crashers not even trying to blend in, with their weapons drawn. With his attention focused on that, there's a scream, and as Siphon stands over a body with a bloody knife, he yells to Ware, "His hold is broken!" Barbara yells over the comms that they have a code red, and Nightwing gets on stating that he is there and he hears her. And he currently has Psycho Pirate here, and he's evacuating with him now. Spoiler says that she's going to move in on the party crashers, and Batwoman says that she just arrived at the mayor's office. She's going to have a talk with him about Arkham Tower's proposal. As Siphon begins to slowly creep towards Ware, the party crasher says, "Screw this," and opens fire. Spoiler jumps in trying to stop them, telling them they have really bad timing. Try raiding the room next time! But while everyone is scrambling for an exit, the front entrance is suddenly slammed shut, and Siphon takes to the intercom stating, "There's been a change in management and policy. Now you're the ones locked up. Now we run the show. It's a new day at Arkham, a glorious day. But unfortunately for Dr. Ware, it will be his last." And now we've currently reached the present day in Arkham Tower, with the patients in full control over this new location, with Siphon, Nero, and Anna having just thrown Ware out of one of the top floors. As Anna leaves to solidify their hold, she walks around looking for someone that she saw earlier in the celebration. She knocks in a few doors, looking in until she finds who she's looking for. Kayoki Nakano, who is standing in for her husband. Another patient runs in with something, stabbing it into Huntress's side, pushing her down an elevator shaft, leaving her for dead. As she begins to plummet, she catches herself on one of the cables, groaning, asking, "What the hell did they stab me with? A spoon? I'm pretty sure I shared snacks with that one." Huntress manages to crawl up and push open a door onto another floor, but as she looks up, she quickly dodges a small shard of ice shooting by her face. Mr. Freeze walks up, stating, "Look what I found, Huntress. They've kept all of our equipment here." He then fires another blast from his gun, freezing almost the entire hallway, and chases after Huntress. As he gets closer, Huntress jumps back and behind, kicking Freeze to the ground, telling him that she has more important things to deal with. Freeze spins back, shooting again, but as he misses, he ends up creating a giant hole in the ground, and Huntress tells him to watch where he points the throw gun. Back in the shaft, Nightwing is making his way down slowly, holding on to Psycho Pirate when he hears two people struggling. On the other side of the door, Mr. Freeze grabs a hold of Huntress, punching into her wound, asking, "Who was it that was controlling us? Answer me before I turn you into a popsicle!" Nightwing throws himself and Psycho Pirate onto the floor with Huntress, but as he lets go of Psycho Pirate, Pirate makes a break for it. Nightwing turns to try and stop him, but Freeze charges in, kicking Nightwing. Nightwing ends up sliding for the giant hole in the floor, but it's Huntress that hits Freeze from behind in an attempt to help Nightwing. As Nightwing tries gripping onto the ledge, his fingers slip and he begins to fall. Meanwhile, back with Mayor Nakano's wife, she's quietly trying to sneak through the halls, finding an exit. But as she begs for someone to help her, she suddenly feels a hand grab her from behind and a voice tell her to be quiet. Later, with that resolved, Nightwing begins to wake up and finds himself bound to a chair and a voice telling him to wake up. When he opens his eyes, he says no. And the voice tells him yes, and a familiar hand with needles filled with green liquid reaches out for him. Back with Kayuki, Psycho Pirate sits her down telling her, "I was supposed to save you. I was the one who was supposed to make it all work, but I failed and my friend is dead. Now we're all going to die in Arkham Tower, and there's nothing that I can do to stop it." But a short while later, back in Ware's office, Siphon shouts his demands to them and the others, yelling that they will pay for what they did to them. Voice asks, "Pay?" And as Siphon turns back, a smoke bomb filled with green gas is thrown in. As it explodes, the voice continues, "Gotham tries to smother its fears, to cure them. There is no cure for fear. It is time for my revenge." And while Scarecrow is holding Nightwing, he lifts his gun and points it to Siphon. And there you guys have it. One final cliffhanger. If you're wondering, this storyline is 12 issues long, so that's why we had to break it up in this way. But Scarecrow is now in the picture. He's got a gun to Nightwing's head, so what is going on? Make sure to subscribe. Check back to the channel next Sunday as this storyline will be continuing.